Hello and welcome to the Crochet Cakes YouTube channel. It is now time to properly start our worsted weight crochet sock tutorial. So I invite you to come on in, grab your worsted weight Lion Brand Woolies yarn, your 5.5mm crochet hook, and of course various notions that you will see pictured here on the screen, and join me to make this lovely pair of crochet socks. To review or recap, if you haven't watched my intro to crochet socks, then I will leave a link in the description below and in the iCard above. I highly encourage you to do so, as there we will discuss sock construction, measurements that you need, and all that fun stuff. Do not despair though, I will include some of the measurements that we will be using on the screen right now for your viewing pleasure. If video tutorials are more of a reference but you don't want to refer back to this tutorial, I got you! There is a free full written pattern that you can view on the Crochet Cakes blog. It is listed in the description box below. This worsted weight crochet sock is designed in 3 sizes to fit kind of like standard feet from 6.5, size shoe to about a 10 size shoe. Of course, all these things can be adjusted based on your measurements, as we discussed in the previous Crochet Cakes video. For this tutorial, we will be crocheting sock size 2 together because that just happens to be my sock size. My foot measures 9.75 inches long. So we will be crocheting that today together. However, all these techniques are the techniques that you need to create a socks that fit you and your own size, and I will be sharing some tips and tricks along the way as well. So thank you so much for clicking the video, and without further ado, let's get started on this crochet sock. Here we have a sock. This one is my complete sample. And we have all the parts that we previously discussed. I will put a video here of how it fits on my foot so you can have a general idea of what we will be working with. As discussed previously, for the purposes of this tutorial, we will need worsted weight yarn. I highly recommend that you have a worsted weight yarn that has some wool content in it if you're able to handle wool. If not, 100% acrylic yarn will do. But please look for something similar to the yardage and the weight described in Woolies. This is specifically Woolies Fair Isle, and the color is beige/olive. This is what the yarn looks like. I think it's very pretty. It'll provide interest, and since we're going to be using such simple stitches, I wanted a yarn that really, again, provided some sort of visual interest so nobody would get bored wearing this sock, crocheting this sock, seeing this sock. Okay. Other than that yarn, we will need a 5.5mm crochet hook. We would also need some yarn needles and stitch markers. Stitch markers are very, very important for crochet socks because not only do they help us mark the beginning of the round, but they also help us mark the parts where we're going to be doing our heel and connecting the sock. Okay, in addition to that, we are going to be needing a tape measure, or if you've already seen the first video, your measurements all written down. I'm going to be sharing my measurements with you on the screen so that you have an idea of what my foot mathematically looks like mathematically, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Okay, so together in this tutorial, we will be making what I consider to be size 2. Size 2, the measurements for size 2 are listed on the screen right now. You can also head to the blog post that will take you through the steps of crocheting this worsted weight sock. Okay, let's get started. Now, to start this sock, we're going to start very simply. We're going to start with a magic loop or a magic ring. As mentioned in the Intro to Crochet Socks video, I like to crochet my socks toe up. So that means that we are going to head from the toe all the way up to the cuff. Now, when it comes to the toe, there is several different toes that you can crochet up. You will find different examples in the Step Into Crochet book if you've purchased it, or also in some of my sock patterns as well as other people's sock designs. But specifically for this tutorial, I'm going to be using what I call the U-toe. This was an experiment that I kind of started my crochet design journey, my crochet sock design journey, I should say. And I designed it all the way back in 2018, possibly. Yeah, I think it was 2018. So to crochet the U-toe, we're going to start with a magic loop, okay? And you can work your magic loop however you do yours. I am simply going to put yarn on these two fingers, insert my hook under the short loop, grab the longer loop, and I'm going to chain one to secure it. Into this loop, I'm going to be working 8 single crochets. So let me do the first one and place a stitch marker. Okay, so we're going to single crochet 8 and then we're going to put that ring tightly. That's round 1 of our toe. We're going to be working this toe in continuous rounds, so of course that means we do not join at the end of the round. We simply start the new round. In this case, we're going to start round 2 with an increase. So that is 1 single crochet, I'm going to move the stitch marker to the stitch I just made. And this is 2 single crochets. So that is a single crochet increase, and we're going to be doing single crochet increases in each stitch. At the end of round 2, we should have a total of 16 stitches. Okay, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 16. We have 16 stitches. I'm going to once again pull that beginning ring taut to close it. Okay, this is the end of round 2. Round 3 is also going to be an increase round. So I'm going to remove the marker and I'm going to do an increase in the first stitch. Remember to replace your marker into the first stitch that was made. Okay. And now into the next stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet. And the repeat for this round is going to be increase. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet. Again, the increase for this round is increase, 1 single crochet. So now I'm going to do a single crochet in the last stitch, and that closes off round 3. For round 4, we are going to do single crochets in each stitch. So don't forget to replace your marker. At the end of round 4, we should have 24 stitches. Remember, I'm just going to be placing a single crochet into each stitch. Round 5, we're also going to be doing a single crochet in each stitch, just no increases for this round. Remember to replace your marker so that we don't lose track of our first stitch of the round. Okay, and we're just going to be doing a single crochet in each stitch. At the end of round 5, we should also have 24 single crochets. Round 6, we're going to do another increase round. So we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch for a single crochet increase. Then we're going to do 2 single crochets. So the repeat for round 6 is going to be an increase, and that is a single crochet increase in one stitch, followed by 2 single crochets. So again, the repeat for this round is increase, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. At the end of round 6, we should have 32 single crochets. Now we're getting ready to do round 7. Rounds 7 to 9 are going to be single crochet rounds, meaning we are not going to be increasing in these 3 rounds. So this is the start of round 7. And if it makes it easier to keep track of the rounds, you can also just add a stitch marker to the base of that single crochet that we just made so that we know that this is round 7. Okay. We're going to continue along round 7 doing a single crochet in each stitch. Okay, I completed 3 rounds of single crochets, no increases, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now for the last round of size 2, this is going to be round 10. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be increasing 2 stitches. I want to go from 32 stitches to 34. So in that first stitch, I'm going to place an increase. And then I'm going to continue doing single crochets along this round until I am about halfway . That we've worked over half of the stitches, I'm going to be doing an increase in the next stitch, and this takes our stitch count of size 2 from 32 stitches to 34 stitches. Now I'm just going to continue working single crochets until we reach the end of the round. Ideally here you've measured the length of your toe as well, and if you want to crochet more rounds to go over your pinky, you're more than welcome to. Just remember that crochet does stretch lengthwise. My toe measures 2.5 inches. That is my preferred toe measurement because this goes all the way over my pinky. Now we're going to start the foot portion of our sock. The foot portion of our sock, we're going to crochet it in extended single crochet stitches. So, again, extended single crochet stitches. If you need a tutorial for that stitch, there is a stitch in my channel, and I will link it for you in the iCard above as well as the description box below. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be completing rounds of extended single crochet stitches. Now these rounds will determine the length of your foot. Don't forget that we will still be missing to add the heel. So overall, for this sock number 2, from the tip of the toe to this heel turn, we should have 8.5 inches, almost 8.75 inches. Because remember that our desired sock length is 1 inch to 1.25 inches less than our foot length. And as you saw in the measurements at the beginning of this video, my foot measures 9.75 inches. So in my case, we are going to be crocheting 4 inches of foot. Okay, so overall, after we complete our foot, after we complete our toe and the foot part of our sock, we should have a total of 6 inches, almost 6.25 inches of sock. So I'm going to complete one round of extended single crochets with you, and then I will meet you back here after I've completed all my rounds of extended single crochets. So I've completed that first round, and I'm going to continue working extended single crochet stitches until I reach those 4 inches or 11, almost 12 rounds. And here we are. I've completed those 4 inches measured from the first round of extended single crochet stitches. I'm almost at 6.25 inches. Another cool thing that you can do is try on the sock now. Hold your fingers in a number 4. Place the pinky finger at the bottom of your heel, and then that pointer finger should be touching the sock right now. And that's also a good indication that your sock is ready for a heel. Now for this heel, we are going to be working what is known as a short row heel. And a short row heel is actually worked over only half the stitches of your sock. The short row heel is not the only heel that you can work up, but it is just my preferred method of working it because it's fast, easy to understand, and it's easy to keep track of your stitch counts. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing is that we are going to be making a single crochet in our marked stitch. All right, and we're going to replace our stitch marker. Now, if you're following along with the written pattern that's included in the description box below, these next instructions will of course vary by size because we're going to be working over half of our stitches, and I'm working a 32 stitch sock, a 34 stitch sock, so half for me would be 17. So I'm going to count from that first single crochet that we made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And I'm going to place a stitch marker on the 17th stitch. And now I am going to single crochet until I am 1 stitch away from this marker. So I should have a total of 16 single crochets, counting from that very first one that we did. So that is 1, 2, 3, 15, and 16. Okay, so we're going to leave this marked stitch unworked. We will work into that stitch when we're completing our heel. So now the next step for row 2 is to chain 1 and turn. We're going to do a single crochet in each stitch, leaving 1 stitch unworked. Okay, so in this case, it will be the stitch before the marker will remain unworked. Okay, so if we had 16 stitches for size 2. We're now going to have 15 by the end of row 2. And again, we are just working single crochets into each stitch, leaving the one stitch unworked. Okay, this is one stitch unworked, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And we are going to keep repeating that, working single crochets, leaving one stitch at the end of the row unworked until we complete the designated number of stitches. So for size 2, that would be until I have 9 single crochets. And I'm putting all the sizes up on the screen for you right now so that you can have a visual reference of how many stitches you should have when we finish decreasing. As I said, we are simply going to continue each row working one stitch less than the row before. And this will kind of form these stairs, okay? And those are going to be the little stairs that we're going to be using to connect our heel to the sock and then proceed to work in the round. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's first complete this little flap, and then I will meet you back here for the next set of instructions. I now have 9 single crochets, and you can clearly see the little staircases I was talking about right here on either side. So now I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to be wrong side facing because I'm going to be facing the inside of the heel. Now here, if you would like, you can place stitch markers on all your skipped stitches so that it can be easy for you to tell where your skipped stitches are, okay? So remember, this was a skipped stitch, this was a skipped stitch, this was a skipped stitch. Alrighty. Now I'm going to do a single crochet in each stitch. So I'm going to do 9 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to begin connecting to our skipped stitches. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to do a single crochet into the skipped stitch that is 2 rows below. We have 1 row here, 2 rows here, 2 rows below we have a skip stitch. And I'm going to do a single crochet into that stitch. And I'm going to do a slip stitch into the following skipped stitch, which should be 1 row below. This is the current row we just single crocheted into, row below, skip stitch. So we're going to do a slip stitch into this one. Now, in the heel turn, the slip stitches do not count as a stitch, okay? And now we're going to turn, and we're going to work the other way, okay? So I'm going to go into the first single crochet. We should now have 10 single crochets, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and now into the skip stitch from 2 rows below right here, I'm going to do a single crochet. And into the skip stitch 1 row below that one, we're going to do a slip stitch to connect. Pull that tightly, and we're going to turn. And now we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch. So each time that we connect and turn, we should have 1 more single crochet. That is 2, that is 3, okay, and remember, this right here is a single crochet. So this is the 11th single crochet. And now we're going to place another single crochet in the stitch we had slip stitched into previously. So if we look at this bump right here, this denotes the place we had slip stitched into, which is here. So right here, we're going to be doing a single crochet. And then we are going to slip stitch to the skip stitch that is one row below. So that would be the marked stitch right here. So I'm going to slip stitched into that marked stitch, and then I'm going to turn. And I'm going to work single crochets until I reach the next skipped stitch. And this is the stitch we had slipped into. So I'm going to do a single crochet there. And next I'm going to slip stitch into this skipped stitch. Pull that tightly, and I'm going to turn. And I'm going to single crochet in each stitch. And now we need to do a single crochet in that marked stitch. Remove the marker, do a single crochet. Okay, so we ran out of heel stitches on this side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into the next leg stitch, because remember, the slip stitches do not count as stitches. And I'm going to pull that one tightly, and I'm going to turn. And I'm going to work single crochets until I reach the other side. Okay, in this other side, we're going to do things a little bit differently, okay? Because now we need to do a single crochet into the stitch that was left, that we had slip stitched into, but we're also going to be doing a single crochet into this marked stitch, which is our 17th stitch. Okay, so into this marked stitch, and I want to pull this one tightly so that we don't really have a gap. See, we have a small gap there, but if you want, you can slip stitch into the base of this stitch, pull it very tightly, and then do a single crochet here. I know it looks very short, but I promise it stretches. Okay. So now we are going to move towards the leg part of our sock. I'm going to replace the markers. So here's a beginning of round marker, and here's the other marker. And let's do a stitch count. We should have the same number of stitches as right before we split for the heel. So in my case, I should have a total of 34 stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very important that you have the stitch count stated on the pattern and the screen, because now this part is the one that's going to go over the ankle diagonal. So this would be our top of the foot, and then this would be the back of the ankle. So this needs to stretch quite a bit. So please make sure that you have the same number of stitches that you started this heel with, which again in my case is 34. And I did check and I have 34. Now would be a great time to try on your sock, because if you find that the heel part is kind of tugging the sock down a little bit, that means that you need to add a little bit more length to your foot. And the easiest way to be doing that is just to rip back all your heel turn and add an extra row at the heel flap that's at the bottom. That will stretch it enough for you. Remember that your heel is all of this. So again, if the last heel row is about here, you may want to rip back and make sure that your heel reaches all the way here, because if not, it will tug your sock down if it's got a little bit too much negative ease. So yeah, try on your sock and determine whether or not you're ready to continue with that leg, or if you need to add a little bit more length. But like I said, if you don't have stitches, you're missing one stitch or whatever, then you can pull back and just, for example, make an extra single crochet at the base here, and then do your last single crochet, and then that should take you up. Okay, now this marks the beginning of we're going to start working extended single crochets again. And we're going to complete 5 rounds of extended single crochet. And we're just going to work an extended single crochet in each stitch. So that would be an extended single crochet in each extended single crochet and single crochet. Okay? We're going to continue working around for 4 more rounds. This is the first round, of course, so we're going to complete a total of 5 rounds, or however long you want to make your leg. This leg currently measures, let's see, from this first extended single crochet row to the row right before the cuff, the leg measures 3 inches. I will meet you back here after I've completed these 5 leg rounds. Next round, which would be round 6 of the leg, is going to be a decrease round. Now we're only going to decrease 2 stitches for each size. So in the marked stitch, I'm going to be doing an extended single crochet decrease. The way I like to do this is by doing an invisible decrease. So if you've never done one before, then I will link a tutorial in the iCard above, as well as the description box below. Next, we're going to keep working extended single crochet stitches until we work about half our sock stitches, or until we reach the next marker. I do say or until we reach the next marker because in my case I did not actually replace my other marker, so I'm just going by ear, and when I work half of my sock stitches, that is when I'll be doing my second decrease. For size 2, we're going to go from 34 stitches to 32 stitches in this round. When we reach our marker or half the stitches, we are going to be doing a second extended single crochet decrease. And again, I like to work this as an invisible decrease, and you will find a video tutorial for this in my channel. Next, we're just going to continue working extended single crochet stitches until we complete our round. Again, this is round 6. So in round 6, I go from 34 stitches for size 2 to 32 stitches. Okay, so this next round that we're about to start is just going to be extended single crochet in each stitch. We're not going to be doing any decreasing. I will meet you back here at the end of this round so that we can start our next decrease round, which should be round 8. We're now ready to begin round 8, and we begin round 8 with a decrease. As mentioned previously, I like to do an invisible decrease. We're going to replace our marker. And then we are going to work extended single crochet until we are about halfway into this round or to the next stitch markers if you replaced them, unlike me, that I did not. So we're just going to work until we're halfway around the sock, and then we are going to do another extended single crochet decrease. Okay, we're halfway through the stitches, so I'm going to be doing another extended single crochet decrease right now. And for size 2, we have now decreased until we have 30 stitches. And we're just going to continue working extended single crochets until we complete round 8. Round 9 is going to be our final leg round, and we are simply going to work extended single crochets in each stitch until we complete the round. And I will meet you back here so that we can work our cuff together. Once we finished our leg, it is time to do a cuff. Of course, there are several different ways you can do a cuff. This is very similar to, for example, if you were doing the rib on a garment, you could do front post, back post, double crochet. For socks, I like to do a vertical cuff. And that means that we are going to be working a chain, and then we're going to come back and work down that chain, connect to the sock, work up that chain, down, connect to the sock. So it's worked vertically. So before we begin, I'm actually going to be doing a single crochet in that marked stitch. Once we complete that single crochet, I'm going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to turn our work 90 degrees, and we're going to work 5 single crochets in the top loop of the chain. Once we've worked our 5 chains, we have a piece that's dangling, right? So we need to connect that piece to the sock, and we do that using slip stitches. So looking for my next stitch, I'm going to slip stitch into there, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the stitch following that. We've just completed 2 slip stitches. Pull that tightly, and then I'm going to turn, and I'm going to work single crochet back loop only in each of the stitches. So that should be a total of 5 single crochets in the back loop. Now for the last single crochet, I actually like to go under both loops because I feel you get a neater edge doing that. Now we're going to chain 1, pull that tightly, and we're going to turn. And we're going to work 5 single crochet back loop only. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and now once again we need to connect to the body of the sock. Now the amount of slip stitches that you can use to connect to the body can vary. You can play around with what number works best for you. I typically like to do 2 slip stitches, and then the following time I do 3 slip stitches, and then back to 2. I play around trying the sock on as I go to make sure that I haven't skipped too many stitches and creating a too tight rib. But on the other hand, you also don't want to put too many stitches and then have a rib that is too wide for your sock. So here we have a little bit of stretch. You want to make sure that it goes over your leg. I did 3 slip stitches. Now I'm going to turn, and again I'm going to work 5 single crochet back loop only. And we are going to keep repeating these steps, working our way up the chain, chain 1 and turn, then working our way down and connecting to the body until we've connected to every single stitch in the leg. Okay? I will meet you back here when it's time to join the cuff. I've just slip stitched into all of the leg stitches. So here, these were the last 2 remaining stitches that I had, and I just slipped stitched into these. So now we can do one of 2 things. We can fold the cuff and we can slip stitch into the back loops only to seam it up, or we could turn and go and do 1 more row of back loop single crochet, and then when we come down we seam it shut. So those are our 2 options. I'm going to go with option 1, which was just to seam in the back loop only right now. And you can see this is what the seam looks like on the sock that I made previously. I just seamed, slip stitched in the back loop only. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to fold the cuff and I am going to slip stitch into the back loop only. After we cut our yarn, we just need to weave in our ends, and you can see the rib allows for a nice stretch that should fit over my ankle. And here we have a completed sock. Well, pair of socks, I should say, because we do have 1 and 2. They are not alike. I mean, they are not identical, but they are alike, so I will take them. And with that, we've reached the end of this crochet sock journey. Thank you so much for joining me for this worsted weight crochet sock tutorial. I hope that you found it useful and that it answered questions that you may have had, or perhaps, you know, you needed an extra little push to venture into your own crochet sock journey. Whatever it was, I hope that this tutorial provided it for you. Thank you so much for joining me for a little bit of crafty time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!